Hi, this is Cheryl back with you from Farmhouse Frugally, and I am delighted with my new home office makeover, and I am so excited to share it with you. My daughter and her family moved out, and one of the rooms that they were in was a spare bedroom. And I have basically gutted it. I just kept the same curtains, which were just some simple valances made out of drop cloth. And my husband painted it in this lovely iced coffee color for me. And once we had that done, it already had good bones, 3 windows, hardwood floors, and so it's a lovely space. But I was in an office that was in the front of the house near the traffic, and I really wanted to move to the back bedroom where I wouldn't have to hear the traffic while I'm working. And did I not come across this most spectacular table with 2 benches for free at my dump? Yes, I did. Now, the table top is worse for wear, but that just took a little bit of elbow grease. And it had a missing leg, must have broken. So what we did was remove 2 of the legs that is in the front and replace it with 2 of the bed posts we had, which were exactly the same size, and just filled that the extra holes on that. And that pretty much just needed a light sanding and a couple of coats of polyurethane because I was pretty happy with the natural color of the wood. And so this was probably $1,000, table and 2 benches that was free to me. Heavy, yes. A lot of work to go get it and put it in the truck and bring it, yes. But honestly, so worth the money. So the other thing I had gotten at the dump last year or the year before was this gorgeous shelf. And I already had this beautiful dresser that was in the spare bedroom before my daughter's family was there. So now my husband helped me just set the table and the dresser in place so that we could kind of get the bones of it. And then I did have to, of course, set up my electronics to begin working. And so this is kind of like a couple of weeks ago, just sort of a quick thrown together items. And now I am going to start to work on the decor pieces. I may have shown you these already in a haul. I picked up these really lovely frames on the good table at my dump, and I am not really a fan of the florals that are in them. They're a little more moody than my style, and the color not so good, but they have lovely frames. They're just very dirty. So one of my lovely viewers wanted those pictures, so I popped those off and mailed those to her. And then I took a serious scrub brush to these frames. They had 30 years of grime, and I knew that because those pictures were marked with a date and they came from building 19. I bought this beautiful canvas for about $6, and so I want to cut that in 2 pieces so that I can frame both of them and use both of these beautiful frames. Cut those portions that I wanted to see in each frame and cleaned the glass really well, and then put those back into those frames. And I think that these are so beautiful. And that shelf that I found a couple years ago was very heavy, so my husband did have to put a French cleat on the back of it to make sure that that would stay on the wall. And he knew I was going to put a clock up there as well, and wanted to make sure that wasn't ever going to fall off. So he put that on the wall for me, and I absolutely love it. Can you believe someone put that at the dump? I can't even. And it goes so nicely with the dresser that I already had. So I also had this frame in my stash. Now, I did technically purchase this for, I think, $12. And it was more than 5 or 6 years ago. It was in an antique store and I really liked it. It didn't have a glass or backing, but that was fine by me. I knew at some point that I would use it for something. And here is the something. This, oh my goodness, this one's my favorite. Gorgeous, gorgeous canvas of this sweet little girl and sheep. And again, I did have to cut the canvas to make it fit the frame. So that, lucky for me, that picture was, just proportionate enough that I was able to do that. And so just cut that out to fit, put that in this frame as well, which also had to be cleaned up quite a bit. It didn't have any backing, so I just used a stiff board from my stash. I actually glued the canvas right onto that because I didn't want it to wiggle or bubble or anything like that, since this frame didn't have glass with it or anything. And I actually prefer it without the glass. And this canvas was $3. And I know you can have canvas or artwork printed at print shops as well as Walmart. I actually love it in this frame. I've been holding this frame for years and years. It was an antique store that I purchased it at, and I believe it was $12. So that, without the frame, doesn't have a glare, and I really do like that. And so here it is on top of that gorgeous shelf. Initially, I had it with these greens, and then I end up changing it and adding some, which you will see later on, with a beautiful clock. Of course, my husband's a clock man, so we have a lot of clock. Now, on the dresser itself, I've had this lamp for a lot of years, and I took some other items in my stash and some things I recently created. Piece of a clock that came from the dump. If you hadn't seen that video, then that's one that I turned into a sweet little bird's nest. And then my husband brought me home this picture from the dump, and that had a frame that was the perfect size. Now, it has a nice pen and ink, and I actually like pen and ink, so I may keep this Golden Gate bridge for something else, a different room in my house later on. But for now, I decided to just pop it off, keep that, clean the frame and the glass, and then use this picture frame for another canvas that I have. Now, the mat on this is a double-sided mat, thankfully, because the one side had faded in the sun over time, so I was able to just flip that over. So after I got everything clean, this is the other canvas. Now, this one had a cheap wood frame that came with it. Didn't fit, of course, as I needed it to, so I had to cut that off of the frame. And then once I got that off, I was able to pop that into the frame. This one was $7.89, probably because it was technically on a frame. And again, you can tell I love sheep. I am a spinner. I love wool. I love sheep. I love the pastoral feel of this. And so after I removed that wood frame, which of course I can use sometime in the future for some other craft project, and I think gluing the canvas to the mat works very well. You can hold it on one side and then pull very taut so that it won't be wrinkled, and that really worked well here. And this one did have glass. I framed it with the glass, but I may end up removing that because I find there is quite a bit of glare on that with the sun. Once I got this one securely into the frame, I did have to change the location of the hanger, and then I took just a little bit of dark antiquing wax and went over parts of the frame that looked like they had been bumped into, and you could see a little bit of a lighter wood tone coming through just to freshen that brown paint up. And then I looked through my house to see what clocks I might have that were in this color tone, so I could also hang them on the wall near this. And so once I had all these pictures hung up, this is basically how this looks in that office now. And so that built-in little dresser in the wall between the closet and the door. And then I have this beautiful setup. I changed out the greenery to pick out some of the pink that was in that beautiful little girl and sheep picture, and then just displayed some of those clocks. I have another little canvas sitting there. You can see that little tiny canvas for around $8. So altogether, the 4 canvases cost around $27 and $12 for the frame. Then the dresser, as I said, I got on the side of the road. That beautiful shelf was at the dump. Those two baskets years ago I purchased somewhere. They were in my bathroom. And since I'm remodeling my bathroom, those are going to be used in here. And I don't know if you see the dome top trunk under this bench. That was free at the dump. Oh my goodness, I love, love, love that dome top trunk. And then again, the table and the bench is free. A lot of the frames free. The clock's my husband's, and the dresser built in. So yeah, just shocking that I could do so much with so little because of the amazing dump that I have and the things that people just give to that space, which I am just so appreciative that I can keep it out of the landfill and use it like this. And it is so wonderful to work in this beautiful space now off of the road, and I am just in love with the way that this looks. Let me know what you think of this vintage pastoral feel, which I guess technically is probably more French country than any other design style. Also, please hit like if you did enjoy this and subscribe, especially if you would like to see the beautiful vintage bathroom that we redid. I would say $1,500 to do it. Gutting it to the studs. So actually a very cost-effective way to do a gorgeous bathroom. So stay tuned for that. And if you think somebody that you know might like these videos, I would really appreciate it if you would share this with them. I am really hoping to hit 5,000 subscribers this year, and I could use your help. I so appreciate that you are so faithful stopping by and leaving such lovely comments. I really appreciate all of the support, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.